Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bloop and a Blast, the baseball podcast. My name's Jeremy. I'm the Bloop. And over to you, Hughesy. You're the Blast. What's going on, mate?
Well, we have to welcome the GOAT of Australian baseball, Tim Kennelly, to the podcast tonight, mate. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Mate, I'll have to read these stats out, and we have to kick this off. And it's amazing to sit back, and I wrote these notes down, and when I was reading them, it's unbelievable. But look, this is where we're going to start this podcast tonight. Team Australia captain, Perth Heat legend, Perth Heat captain. All right, career, 296 hitter. All right, mate, 4 points away from 300.
No, I didn't.
4 points away from 300. It's close. A couple of big seasons left in you, mate. Get back up over that 300. I know that's going to be something that you're looking
not happy with that.
Yeah. All right, but these are the stats that everyone needs to know. All right. 5-time Claxton Shield champion, 2-time Helms Award winner. Career leads the ABL in at-bats. 1,617. That just means you're old, mate. Runs 314. You're 22 hits away from 500. 9 RBIs away from 250. You beat me. My home run record is now yours. 62 home runs, mate. It's been a hell of a ride, mate. Those stats to me, like it's longevity, it's performance, mate. Congratulations on a career that continues to get stronger and stronger, mate. You're not getting older. You're getting fitter. Mate, how does it feel when, I sit back and read those stats out? Would you think that, 12 years ago, that those would be your stats in the Australian baseball?
No, thanks for reading those out. You missed one Claxton Shield there. I think I got 6.
But sorry, mate. Six Claxton Shield.
Homework, Hughesy.
Yeah, mate. No, it's mate, you won 6 with me, so
sorry,
mate. Yeah, obviously it's not something you sort of you think about while you're still playing. But if you had said that when I finished playing over in the States, yeah, probably not. But lucky enough to have a job that still allows me to play, and I still have the passion to play, and lucky enough to play with a pretty good organisation that lets me do my thing. And the Claxton Shields is obviously we had them together, so it's pretty special moments and shared with a lot of good mates.
TK, I've got to say, mate, it was as just the average fan coming into this, it was sick last year, going to the ballpark, watching you, some might say it took a few weeks extra, but that's all right. Watching you chase that home run record, it was just an absolute vibe, mate. Like, you get there and wait, no, TK hasn't hit yet, it was sick. It was so much fun. And then I saw the photo of Hughesy down the stairs giving the old fist bump. I thought, that whole thing and you guys being so close, I think that was just so special. And from an average fan's perspective, mate, it was sick to watch. And thank you. Thanks for giving us that. It was
I did that.
It was awesome.
I did that on purpose just to keep the fans coming to the games. Keep
them
waiting
well.
A little bit longer. So,
mate, you played in the smallest ballpark the week before at Brisbane. Then I'm sitting there every night, looking at my phone, seeing if you did it, and all jokes aside, to be able to do it in front of your family that were all there that night. That moment would have been pretty cool. I know that how much the championships mean to you and to the organisation, to all the players that were involved. And I know you're not one person to really sit back and reflect on, what you've been able to achieve as of yet, and that will come post career. But that moment, seeing you with the family and all that stuff like that, and it was pretty special, and it's pretty special to watch that transpire.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone to Brisbane and come away without a home run. So, it was cool. It was good to do it in front of some home fans. Obviously, to have you there, Hughesy, and some family members, made it a little bit more special. And and it's one of those things, the home runs, was creeping up to Hughesy's record, and I wouldn't consider myself a home run hitter as such, and I don't really go up there and try and hit them. And I probably did a bit too much, try and hit home runs early on in the year instead of just letting it happen. And sort of midway through the year, just went back to sort of my strengths and knew it would come if I just sort of started stringing together some good at bats. And lucky enough to do it in front of a home crowd, which was pretty cool.
string some, like, mate, I'll look back at your season last year and, you said it there, you may have been trying to hit a few too many. You went back to your strengths and correct me if I was wrong, but it was around 12 or 13 straight hits. Was that
I
correct?
think it was only 10. 10,
10,
10 maybe. Yeah, I think it was
mate,
10 in a row.
put
Yeah,
a
10 in a
couple,
row. Yeah.
put a little bit of mayo on that. But mate, that's unbelievable to have to go out there and do that, and that really kind of changes the season, not only for yourself but for the team. And you've always been a guy that's led from the front, and that I feel that part of the seasons where the Perth Heat started to turn a corner and started to take off, and really push towards the playoffs, and essentially going through into the championship series with the Adelaide Giants, mate. So looking back and reflecting on last season, mate, and looking forward, into this season, like, what do you see as, the big things that the Perth Heat need to do moving forward to, I guess, essentially, it's been, I don't like bringing it up, I'm Perth Heat boy, that. It's been a tough couple of years for you. I know you're chasing another one. I know you'd, would really love to win another championship, and the last few years has been, I guess, a tough pill to swallow. But what does it look like for you, leading into the 24-25 season?
Yeah, the last couple of years have been tough. Obviously, losing to Adelaide, who are a really good organisation the last couple of years, and game three, you're 3 innings away from winning a championships, and then they come up with a big knock, and all of a sudden you're miles away again. So we've been thereabouts, but we probably haven't been the best team, the best organisation the last couple of years. We've been sort of lucky enough to get those finals without getting over that line. And I can see it developing, and it's one of those things that we won so many championships as young Australian core players with that organisation, and I see that next crop of guys. You've got Hawley, Bajarski, Bowie have been there for so long now, and they haven't won a championship yet. So that next crop, and it starts with the core up. You need those guys to develop that culture in the team. You need those guys to have all the imports come in and buy in, and then those imports that come in sort of fill in those missing pieces to try and win that championship. So we've been around the mark with that, without being that team that goes out there and expects to win, like we did for so many years. And I can see it developing, and I see it coming. But yeah, we're going to have pretty much the same Perth guys again. I think we've got the Tampa Bay Rays on board, who seem to send out top end talent every year, which is pretty cool for us. I think we've got a few coming over from Asia as well. I'm not sure if they've been announced yet, but I think having those guys along with some independent ball pitchers, and some good veteran guys, just to sew up that starting rotation and that back end bullpen will help us. And then you got guys like Wazza, who's still going, Will Sheriff, Kieran Hall, who you saw what he did at the under 23s. It's just starting to gel together, and you just need to get hot at the right time and catch a little bit of luck, which we haven't been able to do the last few years. And hopefully we can do one better this year.
As a leader of the team, to go along with Wazza, and obviously, two of my best mates, you guys have definitely been, I guess, the captain and both captains of that team and the national team, right? Do you look at the young players coming through now? Do you turn a little bit more stuff over to, like a Hawley and a Jess and a Bodge? I mean, Bodge is a mute; he doesn't speak at all. But Kears and Sheriff, like these guys, Bowie, have now been, as you said, around for a while. Are these guys ready to take that next step and be the leaders? So you can sit back, mate, finally enjoy the last couple of years of the career, mate, and be able to just chill out.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. Yeah, man was lead the team, but really, if you want to have team success, it needs to come through the whole core group. You need all those guys to feel like they're a part and they're developing that culture. And Hawley's done that over the last couple of years. He was, he wouldn't say much sort of early on, and now he's sort of one of those leaders, even though he's still only 24 years of age. But all these guys are leaders in a way because they need to set the example and set the culture for. The imports are a huge part of the organisation. Half the team is made up of imports. So you need those guys to, one, buy into the culture that we've developed over many years, and then be able to relay that down to the younger guys coming through, and then for the imports to come in. So, yeah, they play a pivotal part in developing that leadership and that culture that sort of any winning championship team needs to have.
Nah, mate. I look back at the times that we were able to share that championship success together, and we lost every game the year before with the Claxon Shield. I think we went 5-0-6, whatever it
Yeah.
was, and we were all quite young. I was a couple of years older than a few of the boys, and it's funny how quickly you can turn the corner and put together a roster that can continue and be successful over a period of time. And we had the likes of D-San, your brother Matty, Schmitty, Scotty, obviously yourself. There was a group there that essentially come together and moved through and won 6 out of 8, which was such a special moment. I know for you and definitely for myself in our baseball journey. When you look back and reflect on, I guess, that period of the us playing together, what are some of the key, I guess, moments or takeaways that you have from that you try to instill in, I guess, the younger core group of players that are coming through?
Well, it's just sort of best mates playing together, all right, playing against these other states and going out there, having fun and expecting to win. So it's basically just trying to get the belief in the guys that they're at that level and we should be winning, but also make it fun and make an environment where you want to come down, you want to train, you want to do the extra work, you're playing for each other. You don't care if you go 0 for 4 as long as you do something to help the team win. Little things like that. And when you start actually playing for each other and wanting to win and wanting to be down there, that's when that sort of that championship team success comes. And I've seen it developing over the last few years, and it sucks that we haven't won one recently. But yeah, it's there. It's just a matter of getting the guys to believe that, and then getting the guys, the inputs that come in to buy into what you're trying to do, into that culture and that winning atmosphere. And yeah, it's coming. We just got to get over the line against these powerhouses like Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Like it's been fun to watch your journey, and I look back and you signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. You went over there, and you played. I think it was about 8 years, 7 or 8 years over there, 9 years, and ended up obviously with Texas, trying your hand at pitching, and we were over there together, mate, and all that. And I feel like, what your experience within the States and what happened there, and you've come back, like what type of experiences and what type of things occurred over there that you try to come back and like learn from and teach to these younger guys?
Yeah, I guess it's sort of you go over there at I was probably just turned 18 when I first went over to the States, and I was lucky enough to join the Phillies organisation where I had a good lot of mates, Mitchy Graham, Scotty Mitch, Mark Kelly, those guys within the organisation. So I felt sort of right at home when I first got over there, and a big part of going to the States is you're away from home, so you basically you're on your own. And I sort of had those guys where I didn't feel like I was that far away from home, so I got pretty comfortable pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But then you're also a small fish in a big organisation. You get into spring training, you 180 guys in the locker room, and you're competing against those guys. So so the first year over there, you just go out there and you're playing baseball for a living, so you're just absolutely loving it. And then sort of as you go through the organisation, you get caught up a little bit in, I guess, the politics side of things, where you worry too much about what you can't control. And it probably went through a couple of years over there in the States where I didn't think I was at that level to play at the highest level, and it probably set me back a little bit um, in my career without having that belief. And it wasn't until probably later on, and maybe a little bit too late, where I thought that I probably could have competed at that level. But you're just going over there basically just trying to move your way up through the organisation. As you know, there's so many minor league teams and so many minor league systems, and you've got to be consistent. Otherwise, you're out of there in a flash. So I was lucky enough to spend 8 or 9 seasons over there. Obviously, didn't get to the major leagues like Hughesy did and hit a home run in my first at bat. But no, it
I
was.
think your career's been pretty good, my man.
Yeah. No, it is, and it's one of those things, mate. There's a lot of you need to be in the right place at the right time, and you just got to be consistent, and you got to be able to compete at that level. Throughout a whole season and throughout your whole career, and I love being over in the States and love being able to still play in the national team and the Australian baseball level.
Well, that's another reason why we've got you here, TK. Obviously, there's been some news. The Australian Premier 12 roster has been announced.
Yep.
Did we want to go through the
Oh,
roster?
let's just firstly congratulations, Tim, for
Thanks for
making the
having
team, mate.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
It was
No,
I'm sorry. I should have led with that.
no,
My
no,
apologies.
absolutely. Yeah. No, it's thrilled to put on the jersey again for the Premier 12. Obviously, it's a pretty cool event. Probably just shy of what the World Baseball Classic is, but you still get some amazing talent over there, and we've got a pretty good squad that's just been announced, and going to give it another crack over there in November.
Mate, you've been a part of this national team now for, it seems like, an eternity. You've been able to be the anchor of that, lead-off spot. You've obviously become the team captain when Dave came on board, and you were a leader before that even happened anyway. You played at major tournaments around the world. You've played in front of 40,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, and you played at World Baseball Classics. You represented Australia down in Sydney when we got to play against Arizona. And what if you had one moment throughout that period that you could go back and reflect on and say that was pretty cool? Like, do you have that moment? Do you have one of those memories that you sit back and occasionally think about and say that was pretty cool?
Yeah. Obviously, any time you put on the national uniform, it's a special time. Obviously, you're representing sort of everyone that's had a part in your sort of baseball journey, from family, friends, coaches, teams that you've played with. So anytime you get to put on the national uniform and go away with some of your best mates and players, an awesome experience. Obviously, the World Baseball Classic is probably the pinnacle of the national team in our sport. But if there's one moment or sort of one series, it's probably that Sydney series where we got to play against the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Obviously, growing up in Australia, you see the SCG, you see the footy played in the SCG, you see the Ashes, you see Test matches, and then to see that transformed into a baseball stadium and to bring dirt in from California, made it look immaculate, and then get to play against the Dodgers, who are a pretty good organisation, and the Diamondbacks for the national team. And we were, obviously they were getting ready for their seasons, but were able to beat the Diamondbacks and then took it to the Dodgers as well. And lucky enough to hit a home run in that series, which is something that I've sort of always looked back on as such a cool experience. And then even to then watch the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks play their series, and got to sort of sit up in the box with guys like Michael Clark and Adam Goods and Frank Robinson. It was, a really cool experience.
So just slipped in Frank Robinson. Just slipped that in there. Frank Robinson.
Yeah,
was that Bud Selig's box? Was that you sat in the commissioner's box? Like, let's not talk this down. Like, TK hit this home run and got invited up to Bud Selig, who, if no one knows, was the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Frank Robinson, Hall of Famer, legend of the game. He was up there. And Frank Robinson, did he want your sign? Didn't you get a signed jersey?
So we traded jerseys. So Frank Robinson, Hall of Famer. And it was awful because I hit a home run in a scrimmage game against the Diamondbacks, and it was a fence
don't talk it down.
Hey, don't talk it down, mate.
Come on.
He asked for a signed jersey, so got him a jersey.
Where do you think that's hanging up in his house? Do you reckon that's at front and center, mate?
Yeah, as soon as you walk in the door.
In the closet, probably. It's so we got it authenticated there, and then he's like, I'll get you a signed jersey when I go back to New York. So I wrote down, I think I scribbled down my address maybe on a piece of paper and gave it to him. And then a couple of months went past, I said, I'm not getting this jersey. And then sure enough, a couple of months, the box rocks up and there's a signed Frank Robinson Orioles jersey with a little note on it. So it was a special moment, and something you just look back on and you think of these cool experiences that you get to experience just from playing a sport, which is awesome.
Mate, that series
probably never going to happen again, though.
No,
that's not happening again. That's once in a lifetime. That's amazing. You know,
That series
No,
in
it's
Sydney, I remember walking through the crowd before the first game that the Dodgers and Diamondbacks played. You know, we were coming off this high. We won. We celebrated. We had a great night. we enjoyed
yeah,
ourselves
had a
immensely.
good
We got
night.
to
Yeah, yeah,
drink beers in the home locker room where the Australian cricket team sat. You know, like the stories
far
that
out.
were going on there, the boys that we got to play with. We got to hear the national anthem in front of
Mm.
20,000 people in Sydney, which for us, you know, that's been the biggest crowd that we have been able to play, you know, in front of in
At
Australia, in
home.
front of all our friends, all our families. It was like phenomenal. But I always remember walking through the crowd before that game on between the Dodgers and Diamondbacks and the amount of people that I knew from all over Australia that had flown in to watch those games was just unbelievable. Like
No,
every
it's
10 meters
incredible.
was like, hey, how you going? Like, you know, it
Yeah,
was that to me. And I know TK, you said it how you know special that moment was for you, but for me
mm,
too, that was like
mm,
right up there and the top of
yeah,
everything that we've been able to achieve was to play there. And I only hope that one day the players that are coming through now and the part of the national team get to experience that side of it
yeah.
in Australia, playing in front of your home crowd, 20,000 people wearing, you know, Australian uniform on the front of their chest and to be able to stand there and sing the national anthem, you know, that's a pretty cool experience. But, you know, we turn our page to the Premier 12, right? And it's exciting to see the announcement of the team. We've got
Yeah.
so much experience amongst that group, mate, led by yourself and Wazza, as we mentioned. Who are some of the players on there that you know you're really looking forward to seeing how they go over and compete and play and represent the country?
We can't go past Travis Bazana, obviously number one
Yeah.
in the draft, and being able to play alongside him and see what he can do. I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't think we'll ever get a number one draft pick coming out of Australia again, and what he's able to accomplish over the last 4 or 5 years has been exceptional. So. And he's going to anchor this national team for many more years after I'm gone. So guys like that can just that want to come on and put the jersey on is pretty special. And you've got young guys like Rickson Wingrove, who has obviously established himself in that national team for the last few years. But he still sort of goes to another level when he puts on the national uniform, and you saw it in the last World Baseball Classic where he was incredible. And then you got guys like Robbie Glendenning, one of my best mates, who again is going to put on that uniform for many years to come. And um, ever since I've played with him on the national team, he always seems to excel at that level and thrive against that international pitching. And you got a lot of pitchers, Mitch Newborn, a local Melville Brave, who I've seen develop from probably the age of 12, and he's doing pretty good things over in the States. And got high hopes for him. Hopefully, he plays in the big leagues one day and can stay there for a long period of time. And so to have him pitch for the national team is pretty cool. And you saw what he did in the World Baseball Classic, and he's going to get some outs for us. So yeah, no, it's a mixture again, and some veteran guys there who have been there before and know what to do. And you've got some good young talent coming through. Solly Maguire making his first national team at an event like this. You saw him perform in the under 23s, so he's going to be an outfielder kicking me out very soon. He's going to be on this team for a long time.
So, wait, there's some names here, and
Yeah,
I would,
Absolute.
I would hate to be David and sitting back going, "Who's my leadoff hitter?" You've got yourself, who's been there for so long, right? And you know, I've always said, I think I said to you last couple of years, mate, when are you just going to go hit like fifth or sixth, or you know, just chill out down like the lower part of the
yeah,
order. You got yourself,
yeah,
Aaron Whitefield, two-time Helms Award winner, and
yeah,
the number one pick in the draft, Travis Bazana.
yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
leading off? Who's leading off over there? Who you got,
Oh,
mate?
no, that's going to be Dave's call. I reckon who's swinging the hot stick when we go for our training camp in Japan. But no, I'll be the first to whatever is the best sort of fit for the team. If I've got to hit one, if I've got to hit nine, if I've got to hit six, it doesn't really matter as long as I'm in there and I can
Nine.
contribute.
Nine, mate.
Um,
If you hit a nine, I'm calling Dave going, mate, what are you doing hitting
so
nine? Let's go. Not
maybe
happening.
seven. But no, whatever sort of that best 1-9 looks like. Obviously, there's a lot of good hitters. You've got throw Robbie in there. You got Wingrove in there. you got Georgie. There's a lot of guys that can swing the bat, and we're going to be pretty solid 1 through 9. Plus our guys that are on the bench that can bang as well. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you if Travis wants to lead off, he can lead off because he's pretty good lead off.
Do you reckon that's the first call Dave's done? Hey, Trav, where do you want to hear the lineup now, mate?
Yeah, pretty
Love
much.
to have you. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming. Where do you want to hear it? No, like
No.
we've talked about Travis on previous podcasts, and as an Australian baseball now fan, it's so exciting to see his name and for him to put up his name to play on the team, right? He doesn't need to do that. He's played so much baseball over the last couple of years and he's got so much ahead of him. But it's really sounded like in some of his interviews that he was really interested and keen to be a part of this national team and really help develop the game within our country. And to see him on this roster, just, oh, mate, it's amazing to see. And I'm excited to watch him continue to develop over the years and, become the next, Tim Kennelly leader. Same with Solo. These guys are knocking down the door to, take over that team, and it's really exciting to see that. Now, when we turn to the pitching staff, and we've always been anchored by Atho, Wazza, these guys are the guys. Travis Blackley was a guy that he just excelled in wearing, the national team colours. Wazza and Atho have been these two starters on our national team for such a long period of time. And, we've got some younger guys, Mitchy Newborn, we talk about, mate, I swear I would talk about him every podcast, which,
you 3 minutes we mentioned Mitchy Newborn. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like I look at the roster and, they're the guys that you really know that when it, the lights come on, and that's what it's all about. When the lights come on, who steps up, and those guys have done it, game in, day out, all the time. And for me to see those names back on the roster again, they're going to go out and then compete and play well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, you know what you're going to get from these guys. Right? They're not going to get overawed when they get out there in the Goya Dome when we're playing in front of 40,000 people with the band playing in right field. It's tournament style baseball. Trumpets,
flags going all over the place.
Yeah. Mate, you can't hear a ball. You can't hear a thing when the ball's hit out in the outfield because they think it's a home run when it's a routine fly ball. And you got Whitey running at the speed of light coming towards you. He's got to make sure he can see you that you're going to catch the ball. But you know what you're going to get from those guys, those pitchers. They've been there. We've got a pretty good veterans staff there. And it's tournament style baseball, so we're going to run through those pitches pretty quick. So they're all going to get an opportunity. It might be one time through the lineup, it might be one inning, but we know that we've got a lot of good arms that we can throw out there in the one game.
Mate, looking at the schedule, you open up against Japan, which is just, hey, straight to it, right? Hey, let's play in front of 40,000 people in the Goya Dome, 7 o'clock game, bang, let's just launch straight into the Premier 12 tournament. But then you get a day off, right? And I feel that after a game like that, the emotions of everything, first game, Prem 12, there's a lot of, I don't like to use the word anxiety, but there is a lot of build-up, training camp, emotional, all that stuff. You go out and play in front of 40,000 people. A lot of these guys don't get the chance to do that, and it might be the last time they get to do that, right? So you get the day off in between, which is great to reset. But looking at the next 4 days, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Chinese Taipei, Korea, it just doesn't stop. You're playing... I guess, pool, if you look at it, is ridiculously strong. Japan, number 1 in the world. I think Korea's maybe number 3, or maybe 4. Mexico might have just slotted in there. Taipei have taken the next step. They're unbelievable. And we all know what Cuba can do. They come together all the time. They've got guys that can just compete. That's very tough.
Yeah, it is a tough pool, but it's a Premier 12. You said rather be in the other pool, then you got USA, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. So it doesn't really get any easier. But if you want to be in the top 12 in the world, you've got to play against the best teams.
Absolutely.
And that's who you've got to beat. And, you might get a couple of easy games in the World Baseball Classic when you're rocking 20 teams. But you don't get that luxury in Premier 12. But we've shown in the past, I think we finished 5th in the last Premier 12, bet USA, that we can compete with these guys in a tournament style baseball. Give us 160 games. Yeah, they're probably going to beat us more times than not. But in a 9 inning game, we're rolling out multiple arms, different looks. Our pitching has been notorious for keeping us in the ball games, especially against some pretty good teams that can bang. And we just got to come up with those big hits. We've got guys that have been there and have done it before. Wadey's come up with big hit. Rickson's come up with big hits. We've got guys that we know that can do that. But it's just about going out there, strapping it on, trying to win that game, and then you got resting on it, and you got to do the same thing again tomorrow. So we've got that day off after Japan, but we fly from Japan to Taiwan on that day, so it's a bit of a travel day, recoup. It's going to be some energy after playing a 7 o'clock game at the Nagoya Dome. So we're going to have to be able to recover quickly and get ready for four pretty good teams.
I'm looking at the time slots, and I know I've always hated this where you play a night game. You go from playing in front of 40,000 people. You got travel day, then you roll up against Dominican Republic, and you got a 1 o'clock game against Cuba. That's tough to back up a night game straight into a day game. It's like quick memory, bang. Let's get away. Short-term memory, bang, let's get away. Then you play Taipei 7:30, and bang, back straight out the ballpark for a 1 o'clock game against Korea, right? And that last game is going to mean so much, and it's mentally draining as much as it's physically draining. But I know, you guys are going to prepare. I know you guys are going to go after it, talk about it, and own it. I look back at that 2019 Prem 12 and some unbelievable moments to be able to get through into the next round. And I've written down here my key memory from that was Logan Wade coming up and hitting a triple against Canada, and we needed to score that run in that inning for all this mathematical reasons and stuff like that. Team Canada didn't know that and all this stuff. So for me, I look back at that time and there was so many great moments within that tournament, but without Logan Wade in that moment being clutch, we would never have gotten through to that next round. And I look back and for you, what things happened in that 2019? What clicked? What was the belief? I understand the belief on the team, but to you as the team captain, then what were the big moments that you can remember from the last Premier 12?
Yeah, well, no, you nailed it there with Logan Wade coming up with that triple against Scott Matheson, who I played with the Phillies, who throws fuel. I remember I was at second base at the time, and Robbie was at first base. And I think there was a mound visit, and we went and saw Grazer. And it was basically if I scored, but Robbie didn't, we didn't get through winning by 1 run. We needed to win by 2. But then if the runs got higher, we needed to win by 3 runs. And it was all this mathematical equation. So I was like, well, if he hits the ball, maybe I've got to hold up because Robbie can't. We need to both score. And then he hit the ball in the triple. I was like, I'm scoring. And then Robbie is not the fastest guy in the world. He's probably going to kill me for that. But he managed to turn on the jets and score. And that was the big hit. That allowed us to get through to that second round. And without that opportunity, we don't get a chance to play Team USA and beat them. Obviously, we dropped a couple there in that second round. But, he came up with another big hit in the World Baseball Classic. And it's one of those guys that, again, finds another level at that national team. And it'll be someone else that comes up with a big knot this Premier 12. But as long as we just keep giving ourselves those opportunities and the pitchers keep us in those ball games, we've got plenty of guys that can come up with that big knot, no doubt.
It's funny you say that. From a fan's perspective too, you were talking about it earlier. Sorry to interrupt you, Hughesy, but you're talking about how you've got this crew of guys that come up with the big hits. I was just Googling it then. Rickson Wingrove's 24 years old. And I feel like I've watched him for a lot longer than that. Do you know what I mean? And through the getting the exposure of these tournaments that have been happening and over the last few years, it's like we've got a really good mix of guys like yourself and guys that have gone a long way in the game, as well as these young guys coming through. You throw in a number 1 draft pick. I mean, no shock that we came 5th last time. I think we can do better.
We've always been one of those, even as a nation, I feel like we always exceed what people expect of us. I think maybe that's just our culture, but you're right. These guys, on paper, if you look at, what our payroll is compared to, say, Korea, who we beat in the World Baseball Classic, it's absurd. But maybe Bazana.
Not now, mate. Bazana's got the big marks. Post that.
Yeah, but no, it is. It's we play for each other. We enjoy it. We've got a training camp in Japan before we before we head over to Taiwan. And the guys are just itching to get over there. And, I'm sure everyone's been putting in the work. And then we're going to have a pretty extensive training camp getting us ready for that. Going from a 7 o'clock game to a 1 o'clock game, back to a 7, back to a 1 o'clock game, and having to be able to be at your best. And hopefully that last game means something for us, and then being able to recover for that. So, yeah, no doubt everyone's been putting in the work, and we'll be ready to go once we hit Japan.
I look at the lineup construction, and we talked about the top part, but that middle part of the order, Robbie Glendenning, you said one of your best mates. He's a legend. He can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but we do love Robbie. I just give a little dig to him. He didn't like the fact I forgot his name on an earlier podcast. I've worn it from him for a few days, so I just give him another little lick there. But you got Robbie, Georgie in the middle there, as you said, Rickson, 3 guys now that really anchor the heart, I guess you can say, of that lineup. I think there's a little bit of competition there for the back end of that, of I guess the starting, and as you said, whoever's playing well, competing well, the person in that moment, we know that they'll be there to step up and ready to go. Tournament baseball is extremely tough. You said it. You roll out lots of guys, might throw an inning, might throw, face the lineup once. When you're not seeing these guys and you haven't seen them before, and I know you have video, but you don't have much information to go by. As a hitter, how do you go about approaching? And mate, you are, and I've said a lot, you are the GOAT, mate. You're like Benjamin Button. You got better as you got older. I'm a little bit, I guess, upset that the fact that you didn't get to play professional baseball in the a few years after, because I thought you just become a better hitter as you've gotten older, way more mature. Such a tough out, but I guess, how do you go about approaching these types of pitches that you're going to face when you see them maybe once and have a little bit of video on?
Yeah, so I'm one of the hitters that likes to get as much information I can as the guy I'm facing. I don't like to get sort of fooled up there, and I feel like the scouting reports that we get they get better and better as more data is available for us through scouts and through the coaching staff and whatever. But you're right, you might not have faced these guys, but if I know roughly what they've got, if I've got some sort of metrics, I know how their fastball plays, I know how they like to pitch, that can sort of put those things in my favour. You can also profile guys. You can sort of see the way, you can watch a guy warm up and you can sort of see what their fastball potentially is going to do. And then you rely on the guys that are sort of coming in and out from at bats to give you some of that information as well. And it might be just passing by on deck. Let's say you're facing a guy second. It might just be giving a little bit of, ball sinking a little bit, or his fastball's got a little bit of card or ride, and just trying to get as much information as you can. And then you're going out there and basically just doing the things that you trust in your preparation and in your swing and the at-bat and the thousands of at-bats that you've had before that. And then just try not to get caught up too much in the moment and just sort of and trust those things. But you're right, we're going to face guys that we've never faced or never seen before. But if we can get as much information as we can, use that to our advantage, and then pass on as much information through the scouting reports as they're sort of developing on the day, and be a good teammate. That's how you can sort of get past and get by those things.
Mate, if you are the leadoff hitter and you are facing Samurai Japan, okay, the next big time prospect, big time guy is going to come out of Japan, Sasaki, pumps 99 to 101, nasty velo, split slider. Now, first at bat, Tokyo, Nagoya.
Yeah.
Are we ambushing him first pitch just to set the tone? Just to set the tone in the Prem 12.
Yeah.
Now, George,
100%.
what are we thinking?
100%. Yeah, no. Well, I'll face Sasaki. When we had 2 practice games against them, maybe two years ago. 2 for 2 of him. So
he's the goat.
That's why he's the goat, mate. That's why he's the goat.
He's the goat.
It was fun. Well, they weren't. One was a line drive. One was a little grenade I threw over his head. That little infield single. So I can't
Both
really
line
claim
drives,
them
mate.
both.
Don't worry about it.
Line drive was cool, No, but it was so we faced him after we faced Imanaga for game one. This is before we went over to the States, and he carved us up. Imanaga, scouting report was a soft tossing lefty, a lot of off speed pitches, and he had like 22 inches of vert rise on his ball, and we K'd a lot and a lot of swings underneath the ball. So basically, next BP session was almost trying to hit a ball above and trying to swing down on the ball and allowing for that rise. And that's all I thought about facing Sasaki, facing 100. Last thing I've got to be doing is trying to lift that. So I just thought I've got to stay on top of it. Basically trying to hit a line drive back off his knee. I was a little bit late and sort of hit a line drive to right field. But,
no, mate, stayed on it. You just stayed on it, mate. You stayed on it.
Tried to go, right. No, he's an incredible talent. You see what Otani's doing now and what he's been able to do. And, Sasaki is electric. So, we're going to have to be on top of our game. We're going to have a good approach against them, because if you don't have a good approach against those guys, they'll just eat you up. But now that I said that, he'll probably punch my ticket. But I'll be trying to set the tone early, and I won't be trying to hit a home. If I do that, I'll swing 6 inches under the ball.
Mate, it's exciting, right? Like we know the ABL season's just around the corner. You're going to kick it off in the Premier 12 and come back and don the Perth Heat uniform again. It's exciting to see you do that. How many years are you going to play?
Stole it.
What do you have left in you? I'm sorry, Big Sexy, mate. You're over there being a mute tonight. I'm just going to throw it.
I just sit here. I'm okay with it. I interject where I can. I mean, you guys are like, you've been together for so long, you guys. So what am I? I'm just sitting here enjoying this. This is amazing.
Sorry,
but he's right. He's right. I have to ask you. All right,
Yep.
TK. Like, you've done all this in your career. You've accomplished so much, especially so many things, everything, and some people would dream of it. Like, what is next, and where do you see this going? Where how much more gas have you got in the tank?
I've been asked this question for the last 3 years, and I don't really have an answer for it. It's year to year. There's a couple of things that still drive me to play. One is a passion for the game and the enjoyment that I get out of being able to compete at that level. My body's still allowing me to do it at this stage. I'm still getting picked for teams. They're still allowing me to go play. My wife Anna's still letting me play.
There you go.
I've got a couple of kids. Finn, who's just starting his sort of T-ball baseball journey, that loves coming down to the games. So I can sort of set an example for him. I've got Florence, who's 4, nearly 5, who is thinks she's famous in Japan for having a loud voice at the World Baseball Classic. So she was trending over in Japan. So I don't really have an answer for when. I'll know when it's time. But for now, I still love it. I still love training. Still love preparing for the season, and when I get out there, I just love competing. That one-on-one battle that you have with that pitcher, and until one of those things disappears, I'll play as long as I can.
And look, we hope you do. Like, we're not coming out from the wrong way. Like, it's like this guy's out here doing everything, And I do have to ask one more question. And you mentioned your beautiful wife Anna, and look, my fiance, the first thing she noticed when we went to a Heat game last year was, who's this TK guy, right, playing the Doja Cat song? But also she goes, how does he get his skin looking so soft and so perfect? So what's the skincare routine, man? I'm looking at you here.
Be careful, mate. Be careful. The fiery boys will be all over you for this answer.
How does he do it? Like, look at you, mate. You're right. Hughesy's right. You said Benjamin Button before, mate. You don't look a day older than Ricks and Wingrove, 24. What are you doing, mate? How do you do it?
Maybe younger than Ricks. Nah, no skincare routine, mate. Just
no skincare routine. Okay,
just a little bit of steal some of Anna's products every now and then before bed.
Nice.
But
tell Anna she's crushing it, mate. She's doing a good job. She's keeping you in check. We love it.
Mate,
questions aside, though, we appreciate you, mate, and everything you've done for Australian baseball. It's bloody sensational, and I hope. Like, I just moved to Perth last year. We had an absolute blast going down to the ballpark every weekend as much as we could, and watching you guys, watching the Heat, and of course all the other teams coming in. And I hope, from a fan's perspective, I hope we get to watch you for many more years to come, mate. It's unreal. So
I
thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Mate,
Yeah.
I've got one last question kind of for you.
Mhm.
Actually, maybe two. We punch it
Yeah.
out real quick here. But you mentioned your family, Anna, Flynn, Flo, like being a huge part of, I guess, your success. Anna was there from the start, mate. You guys have been together from the start. She supported you through your minor league career, mate. She continues to support you through, the Australian baseball career, national team career. She's travelled, she's, brought the kids over, she
Mhm.
continues to let you play. It's amazing to sit back and see, your family grow over the years and the relationship still to this day to be as strong as it was. Now, maybe 20 years, 20 plus years.
Mhm. Yeah.
You got the opportunity to play, with your brothers. You've got lots of them.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
really
mum.
good.
Thanks, mum
Yeah.
and dad. You had obviously Adam, the black sheep of the family that didn't play baseball, but had to slide that in there. Matt, Josh, Sam. Like you've had the chance to play with these guys at various different levels. You still play together with the Braves. You're able to win another championship last year. You've won so many together as a group. Like, do
Mhm.
you sit back and I know you get to represent the country, but I know how much playing for the Braves means to you, and I know how much you love giving back to the sport. You got 1623. We've got that company together. You run camps, clinics. What does it mean to play with your family, and what does it mean to go back to club baseball and play locally in Australia?
Like there's a few things there. So first off, Anna has been there from the start of the baseball career before I even went to the States. And, we talk about as baseballers going over there, we sacrifice so much, we're missing sort of birthdays, weddings, all that kind of stuff. But the amount she's had to sacrifice and me not being there for trainings, me going away for all these things, me going away for the Heat every other week, and holding the fort down here with the family. I wouldn't be playing here. I wouldn't still be playing if it wasn't for her. And she's a special person, and she still keeps supporting me to this day. And then obviously the family. Lucky enough to grow up in a pretty cool household with four other brothers, and we were just sports mad. And our parents gave us those opportunities to play every state team. They never said no to anything. And I'm pretty lucky, and to be able to play still with Matt, Josh, and Sam. Obviously, Adam played baseball and footy, and sort of more took the footy route. So he didn't continue to play baseball like we did, but we probably wouldn't get to where we were with if it wasn't for him as well. And being able to go down as a 5-year-old and play t-ball with him, and then obviously be able to do that when Matt, Josh, and Sam. And it's special. I still enjoy going down to the Braves. We had a couple of games ready to start this season, and I still love going down there and giving back to the club. And every opportunity I have to go down there and play, I do that and I take that. And to win a championship with three other brothers, it's special. And it's just like playing baseball in the backyard again. As little tackers, and it's just the love of the game, and you just go out there and you just enjoy competing with each other and for each other. And I probably get happy when my brothers get hits more than I do. I pull for them more than I pull for myself, and it's just one of those things that you just enjoy playing with them. And then when you win together, it makes it even special, I think.
Watched you. I was worried about you on the weekend though, TK.
Mm.
I saw that first play of the season. We were out at Baseball Park there. Obviously Morley versus you guys, and then off the wall, TK slams into the gate, and
Yeah.
I see you there, sort of holding your hand. I'm thinking to myself, "Oh no, TK's hurt himself here. That'd be right. Very first play of the bloody game, but
Yeah.
just a little cut on the friendly
Yeah,
confines out there. Is that right?"
yeah. So spend 6 months prepping all off season to finally play some games. Top of
Yep.
the first inning, one of my best mates, Mitchy Graham, Mitchy Power
Absolute
now
legend.
actually, legend of a guy, crush one off the centre field fence. Went back there, used my hand to sort of brace myself, missed the catch, and came back with a little bit of a slice on the hand. So that was fun.
Mate, what are we trying to do?
batting-
Track that ball down. You said he's one of your best mates. Don't be afraid to let the guy get a hit early in the season. Doesn't mean anything.
Mate,
You bashing that ball, mate. Doesn't mean anything.
Mitch is looking money, bro. Mitch is looking money.
He is.
Guy's
You
jacked.
know more than anything, mate. As soon as you hit that white line, mate, best
Mate,
mate.
those lights get switched on. Those lights get switched on. It's time to go.
Well, the sun was out. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, but just a little cut in the hand. I had to get it patched up because I was hitting third. It's all right. It's a little bit of pain,
Didn't
mate.
stop you, mate. Come out, got a couple of knocks, you know?
Yeah, one off Wazza. So, mate,
that's all that is. That's big time sorts, mate. We've got to get big time sorts on here just to get a little bit of battle. Yeah, we'll get him on here. It'd be a mess, though. I mean, can you imagine the scenes on here with him? He's just going to be...
Yeah,
I don't know. I propositioned him the other day. I said, "Hey, Woz." I said, "I haven't spoken much to him at all because I'd never really met Woz." And I just went up to him at training and I said, "Hey, mate, got a thing at the moment where I do podcasts with ex-big leaguers. Do you want to do a spin-off with me? We'll call it Up and In." And he's like, "Oh, no." He didn't seem super into it. So I was like, "No worries, mate." I just walked off and he's like, "Who's that bloke?" What's this guy?
Woz will get on. He'll be a good time.
Nah, it'd be awesome.
Mate, do you want to wrap up, mate? I was just going to run through, mate, it's been a pleasure to be able to call you one of my best mates, to be able to be there next to you winning 6 championships with your Heat. Can't believe I got that wrong. I'm going to cop a bit of flack for that. We've been able to share so many memories with the Heat, with the national team in the States together. Mate, congratulations on the career. It's not over. There's plenty more left in the tank. I know that for a fact. So, mate, good luck this season. Wishing you all the best, mate. I know we'll probably talk this week again, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the boys go away on the national team. You leading the charge with Woz, with Dave at the helm. Really excited to see, I guess, some of these guys step up and take the opportunity. Seeing Trav play, it's going to be great. But, mate, congratulations, not only from me, but from the entire baseball community across Australia. You've been a stalwart of the game. You've been a leader. You've always played the game the right way. You've always gone out there and competed and wanted to win and done the right thing, mate. Your family's amazing. Your kids are amazing. You're a fantastic bloke, mate. So thank you for doing what you do, mate, and thank you for putting so many smiles on so many people's faces, especially over there in Perth, with all the success that you've been able to bring to that organisation and to that state, mate. So, mate, from the bottom of my heart, love you, always will, and look forward to watching you play this year, mate, and for another couple of seasons, hopefully.
Thanks, mate. No, I really appreciate that, and I appreciate those words, mate. Obviously, one of my best mates, and we've spent so many special moments shared on that baseball field and away from that baseball field. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing a good thing, and bringing this to the baseball community, and really looking forward to listening to many more podcasts with you guys. So I appreciate that.
Oh, wow. How do you end it now? I mean, this is just amazing. And then just some bloop comes in and says goodbye to everyone. So,
look, and just reminds everybody, hey, Instagram, follow us, go on, do your thing.
Yeah,
after that, but, hit us up at Bloop Blast Podcast, blah, blah, blah. We appreciate you. TK, mate, you're the GOAT. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Hughesy summed it up. I can't say anything after that. Hughesy, you're awesome. Look, thanks so much for everyone for listening, and we'll wrap it there. Thank you. Take care.
Going back. This ball's